Hi, I am Michael, a senior web developer, and today we will continue to work on our Vue component framework. And what we'll do today is work on elevations. We will learn what sass maps are and how you can use loops to create classes and export stuff. So first of all, let's start. What are elevations? And I have an example here for you. So as you can see, this button is our standard button, which has no elevation. And then it adds a little bit more of shadows, right? But the shadows are written in a way that they are looking like the element is elevated above of the rest, right? This one looks visibly higher than this one, right? So it's like a staircase if they are like this. So you can use this effect to like push something in front of other things like a call to action, right? Whatever it is, or other elements, doesn't matter. This will work with every element. And yeah, usually it's used in stuff which should like jump out to the user. So this is what we will do. So this is our playground. Let me show you what I have written here so far. So basically, this is our HTML here. As you can see, we are using our buttons for this. And we added the class elevation 1 to 5. And this one has no elevation, right? And then just if you're wondering why it's ordered like this, why it's like this thing, right? So its elevation class here basically just gets a padding. So left and right is a little bit more space. And display is grid. And then we have a row gap of 40 pixels. Nothing special. You can change this to however you want. It's just for the visual. So how does it look right now? This is how it looks now without our elevation class, right? So everything is flat. Again, you can see the difference from here to here. This kind of looks boring. This looks visual, more pleasing, right? So let's start implementing our elevation thing. So first of all, we need to create a new folder in our base package because the elevation was basically a helper class, right? So elevation is the folder we need. And then as always, we will create two files here, exports as CSS. This is where our export will come in. And of course, variables as CSS, right? So first of all, our variables here, and I will copy and paste something in, and then I'll explain it. So basically, these are our variables here, and you can see like 5 to 1 is how we have named this. So what is this construct here in general? This is a sass map. A map is something like a list. No, actually there's sass lists. That's not a list. It's more like an object or something like this, which you know from JavaScript, where this is the key of accessing it, like the index. And then whatever is inside, we can put inside here, right? So it's like an object if you want to, or a map, right? Because every key can only be once here. And then inside, we just have some CSS, which doesn't matter. It's the thing for the box shadow. And yeah, let's implement it, right? So why are we doing this like this, right? So what we can now do is go to our exports here, right? First of all, we need to import our variables here. Nothing fancy so far. Don't forget to save this file. So we now have it here. And now we want to export these classes, these variables, right? So or maybe let's start with the actual implementation. So what we want to do is like there is this each construct in sass. Then it will take the number. It will take the value in elevation. Let me copy it so I don't mistype it. Boom, here, this one in elevation shadows, right? So just a quick explainer here. This correlates to the number here. So it's the key. And this value is whatever is inside of here, right? Pretty straightforward. So what do we need now to do? We now need to create a class elevation minus. And now we use string interpolation from sass again. So this is how we now take, and we need to unquote. We need to let me, I've mistyped it, unquote what it means. It will remove the quotes around the string, right? So this is a function from sass. It will unquote. What we will of course put in here is the number, right? So this here, for example, for 1 will be the same as dot elevation -1, and so on. So this is the first part, right? The next thing we want to do is, of course, create the things we have inside of our class. So with this we have created the class name, and now what we just need to do is have box shadow, and since we created our things already in the right way, the only thing we need to do is take the value and boom, right? So that's the first part. Now, of course, we also want to export these things, right? So what we do now is, again, we can just copy this part and just export the value here. And then, of course, we want to have this as variables, which we can change, right? So let me just quickly copy the code because it's exactly the same, nothing fancy here. So as you can see, again, we are doing each group of elements. We are creating a minus evaluation variable with the number, right? Then we, of course, need to put this into our base CSS, right? So we need to have the elevation here, so we can use it. Boom. Now it's compiling, as you can see already, compiled successfully, so it got change. Let's see if we already have our elevation. As we can see, boom, here it is. We now have our elevation, right? So that's basically it. Now we can add this elevation to everything. You see how easy it is once you have the system set up. It's super easy. And yeah, you can now pretty easily use like this loops. So basically, the loop is basically an each loop. So for each entry in our variables here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it go through, take this value, take this key, and create basically what we need. So now we have created elevations, right? So we now have this fancy elevations here, which again looks quite pleasing from my eye, at least, that we have like this shadow here. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week. And as always, if you like, then give a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give a thumbs down. If you want to see something else, comment down below what. If you really enjoy the content, please subscribe. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.